Good morning and welcome to Reformer class. I'm so happy you joined me today. This is going to be a full around 50-55 minute class, and we're going to start by getting your abs kicking. So you're going to flip your headrest all the way down flat. You're also going to look down into your spring wheel and come on to one blue spring is middle weight, one yellow is light, obviously a red is a little bit heavier. This is one of those abdominal series where the lighter you go, the more challenging it is. So if you want more work, a yellow. If you want more support, a red. I like a blue. We're going to turn around to face your risers and let the heel of your foot come right onto the edge of the headrest, scooting your bum pretty far forward. Grab onto the straps kind of right below the hardware. If you want more support, you can go above the hardware. We're going to sit up as tall as you can. Feel those shoulder blades roll back and down. Taking an inhale here. On your exhale, tuck your pelvis, shift back, rolling down onto the upper glutes and then your lower back, and hold. You don't want your shoulder blades to be touching the mat. You're going to take an inhale here. On your exhale, watch your abdominal sink, scoop out the core, and roll yourself all the way back up, feeling those shoulder blades hook down, sitting up as tall as you can. Taking that inhale here, exhale, tucking the pelvis, shifting back, rolling down just onto that lumbar spine. Shoulder blades don't get anywhere near the mat. You inhale, hold. Exhale, sink your abdominals down. Roll the spine back up. Let's go for 3 more like this. Inhaling here. Exhale, tuck the pelvis, shifting back, rolling down for 3. Inhale, holding, sinking your abdominals. Exhale, roll it all the way back up. Shoulder blades are hooking down, back of the neck is long. Inhale, hold. Exhale, take it down for 2 more. Tuck the pelvis, shifting back, rolling down for 2. Inhale, holding, exhale, sink, and bringing it right back up. Chest is proud, moving slow with control. We'll take it deeper into your core. Inhaling here, exhale, tucking the pelvis, shifting back, rolling down. Last one like this. You're going to inhale, hold, sink those abdominals down. Bring it up about halfway and pause. Really scoop your abdominals inward and give me a pulse up. As if you're going up and over a seatbelt. There's 8. Scooping out the core to pulse for 7. Really jumping up and over that seatbelt for 6. There's 5. Are your shoulder blades still pulling down for 4? Breathe for 3. Whew. Take 2. And last one. Sitting up nice and tall, taking an inhale here. Exhale, tuck the pelvis, shifting back, rolling down onto that low back. Bring your right leg into tabletop, bring your left leg up to meet it. Pretend like I've got a cup of tea balancing on your shins. You're gonna roll back up, keeping the tea balanced. So I'm keeping my shins parallel with the ground. You inhale, hold the top, and you exhale, tuck the pelvis, rolling back down just onto that low back with control. Inhale, holding, exhale, sink your abdominals down to bring yourself up for 7. Inhale, holding, and exhale, shifting back through the pelvis to roll it down, but don't spill your cup of tea. Scooping out the abs, bringing it up for 6. Once again, are your shoulder blades still pulling down in this supported teaser? Rolling back. Inhale, holding. Exhale, scoop and lift. There's 5. Inhale, hold, and exhale, bringing it back down. Getting that little tremor of truth. You know you're working hard. Here's 4. Inhale, holding the top, and exhale, bringing it back down. Inhale, pausing. Exhale, scoop and lift for 3 more. There's 3. And lowering back down. Inhale, exhale, sink the abdominals down to bring it up for 2. Shoulder blades are still hooking down. Back of the neck is long. Rolling back. Now on this next one, you're going to bring it about halfway up and hold. Scoop out the core. From here, keep that cup of tea balanced and give me a pulse up for 8. Pulse 7. Breathe 6. It's a lot of control here for 5. Really working the obliques 4. They're supporting for 3 as you scoop out your transverse for 2. And last one, replace those feet down. Replace the straps back down onto the pegs. Spin yourself around looking down into your spring wheel. we're gonna get your footwork going. I like to do right now footwork on 2 reds, a green, and a blue spring, but whatever works best for you. You can go a little heavier, a little lighter. I'm also gonna be flipping my headrest up because that feels better for my neck. I'm gonna lay all the way down on my back. Whenever I lay down on my spine, I really want to make sure I line up my shoulders and I line up my hips. You don't want to be skewed on the machine to do your footwork. We're going to put your toes on and kiss those heels together in a small Pilates V. I also want to make sure that I have a right angle at my feet. So I've got a perfectly nice right angle right there. When ready, let's go ahead, take an inhale, push the machine all the way out to hold. At this point, I always pop my head up, double check that my feet are lined up on the foot bar, which they are, thank you feet, and bending your knees, resist, pull the machine back in with control. Let's take it out for 7, pulling those inner thighs together and resisting back. Keeping that pelvis in neutral for 6. As you bend your knees, you're gonna be tempted to tuck it. Keep that tailbone heavy. There's 5. Really squeezing your heels together for 4. Bending in. Pressing away for 3, resisting back. Once again, spine's in neutral, chest is proud for 2, chin is up, gazing up towards the ceiling. And last 1, bring it halfway in and pause. Once again, really work the core as you pulse it down. 8, glutes and pelvic floor. 7, think about engaging that Kegel muscle for 6, 5, take the bounce out of it. 4, make it a resistance for 3, 2, and press the machine all the way out to straight legs. Hold, separate the heels so your feet are parallel. I have to walk my toes a little bit closer together so I'm sit stones distance parallel, and drop those heels underneath the foot bar and go, whew, that feels so good. Stretching out the calves. I'm just gonna bend my right knee to increase the stretch through my left calf and hold and breathe for 3. Inhale, my pelvis is still in that neutral position, still lined up for 2. And let's switch to the opposite side. So lifting everything up, dropping the right heel down, taking a nice stretch to the right calf, and breathe right there for 3. Inhale, exhale, breathe for 2. And last 1, lift both heels up nice and high, and let's get some calf work going. And although we are working your calves out, we want to try to work the feet as much as we can. So as you lower your heels down, think about, well, especially on the way up, think about rolling through the feet to lift up for 8 and rolling down. Because you're going to get calf work no matter what. Might as well work the feet as well for 7. Back of the neck is long, chest is proud for 6. Once again, pelvis is still in that beautiful neutral position for 5. Let's take 4 more. There's 4. Lower and lift for 3. Inhale, exhale, take 2. Lowering down, lift and hold. Bend your knees, come all the way in with parallel legs. And pressing back out with parallel legs. Now think about where your heels are in space. As I bend my knees, I flex at my ankle, so my heels don't actually move. When I was teaching classes, I would go around and I would hold onto people's either heels or toes. On this one, it would be heels. And you didn't want them to bob around at all. So as I bend my knees, I flex at my ankle. And as I press out, I feel like I point my toes to keep those heels steady. It's also why we call it footwork, because that's what we're stabilizing. And we've got 3 more. Reach for 3. Bending in. Inhale, lengthening out for 2. Resisting in. Pressing out, last 1. And then once again, bring it halfway in and pause. Getting into that under butt, the lowest level of the glute, and your pelvic floor. Let's pulse it down. 8. Heels are still steady. 7. Breathe for 6. There's 5. 4. 3. Take 2. And last 1. Press all the way out to straight legs. Bend one knee, push the opposite heel down. Once again, no trips to Hawaii right now. Do not let the pelvis hula. Keep it nice and steady and reach the opposite heel down. Lift and press. There's 7. Lift and lower for 6. Inhale and exhale. Drop a heel under for 5. Take 4. Breathe for 3. Last 2. Inhale, exhale, press. Last 1. Lift both heels up nice and high. Bend both knees. Come all the way into the stopper. Getting into some pelvic curls. Reach your hand around and flip your headrest down if it's up. We don't want to overextend your occiput. You're going to wiggle off the shoulder blocks just a tiny bit, just so you're not pressed up against them, and you still want to stay nicely lined up on your machine. Today you can do your pelvic curls on your toes, arches, or heels. Toes will be the most challenging, and by toes I mean ball of the foot. So take an inhale here. On your exhale, tuck the pelvis, squishing your low back into the mat before you peel your vertebra off one at a time, reaching your hips up and lengthening your knees forward. Another way to think about this is pull your glutes towards your heels. You inhale, hold the top, and you exhale, articulate all the way back down, one vertebrae at a time. Tailbone comes down, taking an inhale at the bottom. Exhale, tucking the pelvis, squeezing the glutes, rolling your hips all the way up. Reach those knees forward, widen the collarbone. You inhale, hold the top. And you exhale, roll it back down, and we have about 6 more to go. The traction on the spine always feels so lovely. Tucking the pelvis, exhaling, articulating, rolling it all the way up. Once again, we inhale, hold, and we exhale, articulate, roll it all the way back down, one vertebrae at a time. Tailbone comes down, taking an inhale. Exhale, 5, roll it all the way up, there's 5, inhale, holding the top, exhale, articulating all the way back, chest is proud, back of the neck is long, holding the bottom for a sip of air, exhale, take it up for 4 more, lifting up, reaching those knees forward for 4, inhale, holding the top, and exhale, rolling back down. Let's take it for your last 3. Inhale, exhale, tuck the pelvis. Really, can you tuck your pelvis so deeply you feel a stretch through your hip flexor as you reach your knees forward? I feel it on my left side. You inhale, hold, and exhale, roll it back down. 2 more to go. Inhale, holding the bottom. Exhale, taking it up. There's 2. Reaching the knees forward, widening the collarbone. You're also really actively pushing your arms into the mat. It's helping to ground the movement here. And rolling back down. Last one. Inhale, holding the bottom. Exhale, roll it all the way up to hold. We're going to do your set of pulses. I do this all the time because that underbutt, that lowest level of the glute, is really important for stability of the body. So we're going to lower your pelvis down just an inch or so, and exhale, tuck the pelvis and push the hips up for 8. Lowering down, exhale, tuck and press 7. Breathe for 6. Whew, there's 5. Hello, glutes for 4. Breathe for 3. Take 2. And last one, roll it all the way down just to wash it out. Tailbone comes down, taking an inhale at the bottom. Get ready for some single legged work. If you felt some cramping in your hamstrings and that last side, I recommend coming up onto the heel of the foot for this next one. Inhaling here, exhale, tuck the pelvis, squeeze the glutes, roll all the way up to hold. Now, as much as I like to ground my arms down, whenever I do single leg work, I like to take my hands just slightly up to my pelvis. They're not holding it steady, but it just gives me a tactile cue to know if it's moving or not. I'm going to bring my right leg into tabletop, reach it straight up towards the ceiling. I'm going to flex my right foot and point the toe, 8. Flex, point 7. It's just that left glute doing a lot of stabilization for 6. Breathe, 5. Take 4. Flex and point for 3, really reaching through those toes for 2. Point the toe and keep the toe pointed. Without letting the pelvis move, lower the right leg down over the foot bar. Flex the foot at the bottom and exhale, push the heel up for 8. Inhale, pointing down. Exhale, flexing up for 7. Reach and breathe for 6. Keeping the leg as straight as you can for 5. Pointing down. Flexing up for 4, inhale, and exhale, breathe for 3, reaching out, flexing up for 2, is your pelvis still nice and stable, lowering down, lifting up, last one, replace that right foot down, take that inhale, clean up your pelvic curl, and roll down your spine 1 vertebrae at a time. Mind the dog that I think is now blocking the frame. Keep your right foot right where it is, cross your left ankle to your right knee, and take a nice figure 4 stretch. While you're stretching, I'm going to ask the dog very nicely, Dovey, can you lay down, please? Oh, kisses, thank you. Lay down. perfect place for you. And take about 3 more deep breaths, stretching, open that left hip, breathe for 3. Inhale, exhale, breathe for 2, silly dog. Inhale and exhale, breathe, last one. Let's replace that left foot back down. So clean up your feet, make sure they're nicely lined up. Hands come down by your side, taking an inhale here. On your exhale, tuck the pelvis, squeeze the glutes, and roll your hips all the way up towards the ceiling and hold. Now, hands come back onto your hip bones because you don't want your pelvis to move at all. Keeping your right hip and left hip exactly where it is. Bring your left leg into tabletop, reach it straight up towards the ceiling. Flex the left foot and point for 8. Flex and point 7. Inhale, exhale, reach for 6. Pull those toes back and reach 5. Take 4. Breathe for 3. There's 2. And last one. Keep the toe pointed. Reach that left leg down over the foot bar in an inhale. And then flex the foot at the bottom and reach the heel up for 8. Lengthening out. Flexing up for 7. Reach and breathe. There's 6. Inhaling down. Exhale, flexing up for 5. Length and take 4. Reaching out and bringing it up for 3. Lowering and lifting up. There's 2. Taking it down. Lifting up. Last one. Replace that foot all the way down. Take an inhale. Clean up your pelvic curl. Roll down the spine 1 vertebrae at a time. Keep your left foot exactly where it is. Cross your right ankle to your left knee. Take a nice figure 4 stretch on that right side. And breathe. I think Dover just fell asleep, and he's snoring. Take 2 more deep breaths right there. Breathe for 2. And then last one. I'm going to go ahead, reach around, flip my headrest up. It's time for your series of 5, which is our classical abdominal warm-up. You can leave your foot bar up if you'd like to. I like to take mine down, so I'm going to go ahead and sit myself up, get my slide locks out of the way, and take my foot bar all the way down. Once I get the foot bar all the way down, I am going to lay all the way back down on my spine. Okay, and I'm going to ask the dog, Dovey, will you please lay down too? And he's not going to listen to me. Oh well. Once you lay all the way back down, you do want to line yourself up with the shoulder blocks and make sure your hips are even. Take my pelvis over a little bit. And you want to be about 1 inch off of your shoulder blocks here. Bring your legs into tabletop and reach your arms straight up towards the ceiling. Taking an inhale here. On your exhale, chest lift up as the hands come down. There's 5. Inhale, resisting back. And exhale, lift for 4. Pelvis stays in a neutral position. As you come into a chest lift, you're going to be tempted to tuck your tail for 3. Keep that tail heavy, resisting back. We have 2 more, lift for 2. And bringing it back down. Now lift to hold, chest lift up to pause. Hands can do one of 3 things. They can stay down by your side. They can come behind your head to support your neck. Or as you extend your left leg out, you can take them on top of your right knee, which is the more classical abdominal, the more classical arms for the series. On your exhale, we're going to exchange those legs 8 times. Switch for 8. Really place your foot out there for 7. Breathe 6. Exhale 5. Take 4. Curling up a little bit higher for 3. 2. And last one. Pull both knees in. Once again, curl up a little bit higher. Hands can be behind your head to support your neck if need be. Or classically, arms and legs reach away in opposition. Circle those arms around, pull the knees back. 8. Stretch and breathe for 7. Length and take it for 6. Reach and breathe for 5. Really sink those abdominals down for 4. Inhale, exhale, breathe for 3. Reach and circle 2. Last one right here. Extend those legs straight up towards the ceiling. Hands can go behind your head to support your neck, or you can let your head rest down holding onto your shoulder pegs. I've got some neck issues, so I like to let my neck have a little bit of rest so I don't take stress back there. Legs can be in parallel or turn out, whatever feels best for you. You're going to lower them down, lightly touching the foot bar, and exhale, bring those legs straight back up towards the ceiling. Lengthening out and lifting there. 7. Inhale, Exhale, breathe for 6. Lowering down, lifting up for 5. Inhale and exhale, breathe. There's 4. And lift, there's 3. We have 2 more to go, bringing it up for 2. Inhale, exhale, lift and hold. Grab behind the right leg, bringing yourself back into a chest lift. Lower your left leg down so it's lightly touching that foot bar. Pulse your right leg in towards you twice, giving it a stretch. Go exhale, exhale. Exchange legs, grab the left leg and pulse it in twice. Exhale, exhale. Back to the right for 6. To the left for 7, 5. Counting the wrong way. Here's 4. To the left for 3. Stretch, stretch. Oh, it feels so good. Take 2. Last one to the left. Breathe, exhale, exhale. We're going to add rotation to that leg movement and get rid of the pull. So when you're ready, take your hands behind your head and twist towards the leg that's up. Switch legs, switch rotations. There's 8. Last set right here. 7. Breathe 6. Exhale 5, 4, 3. Up and over for 2. And last one. Hug your knees in. Roll around on the back for a moment. Take a minute. Feels so good. And let's get you up and off of your back here. We do have to pop your foot bars back up and finish off your footwork. So if your foot bar was down, go ahead and slide it back up and then lay yourself all the way back down on your spine. Once you're down there, we just have 3 more little series to go on footwork. Take the heel of your foot nice and wide. I forgot to show you, line up your shoulders, line up your hips. Point those toes up towards the ceiling. Think about your toes and your feet are stabilizing here. So as you push the machine open, it's gonna almost feel like you point your toes a little bit, keeping them steady in space. And as you bend your knees, it almost feels like you flex your ankle because you are keeping your feet steady in space. Let's take it for 7. Resisting back. Press and reach 6. Once again, pelvis is still in that nice neutral position. So is your spine for 5. Bending in. Taking it out for 4. Resisting back. Here's 3 more. Bending in. Last 2. Resist, taking it out. Last one, reach. Bring it halfway in and hold. Let's pulse it down. 8. Pelvic floor 7. 6. Hello. 5. Glutes and pelvic floor for 4. Chest is proud. 3. 2. Last one, taking it all the way out. Bending your knees, coming all the way in. Keep your feet wide, drop down onto your toes. Press out with wide toes, now stabilizing the heels. And as you bend your knees and flex at your ankles to keep your heels steady in space. Lengthening out for 7. And resisting back. Press and reach 6. Bending in. There's 5. Hold the machine in towards the stopper for 4 more. Bending back. Here's 3. Resisting in. 2 more. Press and reach for 2. Bringing it back. Last one right here, lengthening out. Once again, halfway in and pause. Tailbone's heavy, chest is proud. Pulse it down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Here's 3, 2, and last one. Lengthening all the way out, bending, coming all the way in. Last set of Last set of footwork, prehensile. So arches are on the foot bar. Feet can be completely locked together 2 to 3 inches apart. It's just East Coast, West Coast style difference, whatever is best for you. With your arches on, push the machine all the way up because we set it up on the out. Now you don't want to drop down onto the ball of your foot, but you do want to lower your heels down as much as possible as you knuckle your toes around. Birdie on a perch, sloth on a branch, chameleon in a tree. Keeping the heels nice and low, bend your knees, come all the way in. Inhale, pressing all the way out. Structurally, your heels are going to have to lift up a bit, but your goal is to keep them as low as possible so you get that nice stretch through the Achilles tendon as well. Let's take this for 6. And lengthening out, resisting in for 5, and press, Take it for 4 more. There's 4. Reaching away. Last 3. Inhale out. Take 2 more. There's 2. Pressing away, and then bring it about halfway in and hold. Let's pulse it down. 8, really working those feet. 7. I get some lovely kind of work cramping for 6, 5, 4, grip for 3, 2, and last 1, taking it all the way out to straight legs, bending your knees, coming all the way in. Just go ahead, hug your knees in towards your chest, roll around on your low back for a moment here, because it feels so good. And we are going to sit yourselves up, straddling the machine, facing your foot bar. So you can roll yourself up and off of your back. Once you come down straddling the machine, you will have to move a dog paw out of the way. Let's just move that right there. Sorry, buddy. And for my machine here, I'm going to line the heel of my foot up with the edge of the carriage. So I'm scooted pretty far forward, and my inner thighs are actually touching my foot bar here. And I'll look down into my spring well, and I'm gonna add on every single spring because I don't want the carriage to move at all. For this exercise, you're also gonna need a foot bar that locks into place. If you're working on the same machine but with the classic foot bar, when you pull up, the foot bar collapses down. I apologize, you will not be able to do this next series. So do a Little Mermaid or something else, but if your foot bar locks in place, this is fabulous. This is a Cadillac series. It's technically called Bonanza. I like to call it Around the World, because it just feels like that to my body. But anyways, so let's take your hands onto the foot bar about shoulder distance apart. We're gonna sit up nice and tall. Shoulder blades are pulling down, you have a bend in your elbow. Take an inhale here. On your exhale, you're gonna start to tuck your pelvis, rolling back onto that upper glute as you straighten out your arms. You're in that deep C curve here. My abs are carving up and in. Now, initiating from the pelvis, start to stick your bum out and let that ricochet roll through the spine. I feel like it feels like a wave until you bring your spine into extension, and then bending your elbows, pulling yourself back up to your start position or neutral. Inhaling here, exhale, tuck the pelvis, shifting back onto the upper glute. As you do so, you create resistance in your arms, but your elbows do lengthen out. So I'm in that deep flexion C curve. Now, once again, initiating from the pelvis, start to stick your bum out behind you, roll through the spine, shoulders hook down, back of the neck is long, we're in that extension, and then we bend our elbows, we pull that extension upright, and we come back to neutral. Let's take 2 more. Exhale, tuck the pelvis, shifting back, rolling down, very gyro. And then once again, start to roll through the pelvis, let that wave go up your spine, shoulders hook down, you take it into that lovely extension, and then you bend your elbows, sitting up as tall as you can, pulling yourself back to neutral. Last one like this. Tuck the pelvis, shifting back, rolling down. Move from the pelvis, let that wave ricochet up your body, shoulder blades hook down, back of the neck is long, bending your elbows, bringing yourself all the way back forward. Take your hands just one tiny step closer towards one another. Now we're going for the Bonanza or the Around the World, whatever you want to call it. Lifting up through the heart, taking an inhale here. On your exhale, you're going to tuck the pelvis, shift back just how we just did, and hold. Once you come back to your deep C curve, make sure your left hand is really grounded down. We're going to release your right arm out to the side. You're going to look at it as it travels. It's going to not come quite in line with the risers in the back. You'll find a natural stopping position. From there, you keep your C curve and you it almost feels like the arm's a wave breaking up and over the body. Now as I break up and over to the left, I push down through my left foot and I shift my rib cage to the right, and I get a lovely stretch going down the right side of my spine, and I breathe for 3, breathe for 2, and last one. Let that right hand, I feel like it's like a lasso, comes behind your body. It travels over the foot bar. It grabs onto the metal leg of the foot bar as you bend your left elbow. Once again, push down through the left foot. You're in flexion again, and shift your ribcage to the right, getting a stretch through your thoracic spine, the multifidi of the thoracic spine, and breathe for 3. Once again, still scooping out your abdominals for 2, And last one. Let's replace that right hand back down, sitting up nice and tall, taking an inhale here. Exhale, tuck the pelvis, shifting back, rolling into that deep C curve, releasing that left arm out to the side. Look at it as it travels. When you find that kind of natural stopping point, you're gonna let that arm break up and over like a wave breaking. I push down through my right foot, shifting my ribcage to the left, even though I'm in that flexion, and I get a fabulous stretch going down the left side of my body, and I breathe for 3, breathe for 2, breathe last 1. Let that arm roll back around like a lasso. It travels over the foot bar. You grab onto the metal frame of the foot bar, you bend your right elbow, you push down through the right foot, you take it into flexion and you shift your ribcage to the left and you breathe right there for 3, breathe for 2, and breathe last 1. And replace that hand back down. We're gonna do 1 more each direction. Taking that inhale here, this feels so good. Exhale, tuck the pelvis, shifting back into your C curve. Release your right arm out to the side. Look at it as it travels. Side stretch up and over to the left, pushing down through that left foot to get that lovely stretch through the right rib cage, side of the rib cage, thoracic spine for 2, and breathe last 1. Right arm lassos back around. It reaches over the foot bar. You grab onto the metal frame of the foot bar, bend the left elbow, push down through the left foot, and shift your rib cage to the right, opening up the right multifidi, going down the thoracic spine, kind of around your shoulder blade. Also play with where your shoulder blade is. By lifting the shoulder blade up or dropping it down, you're going to change the stretch. Give me 2 more breaths right there. You can also play with your head placement. Get a nice opening back there. It's kind of hard to stretch into that section of your spine any other way. And replace that right hand back down, coming back to your start. Last one, taking an inhale here. Exhale, tuck the pelvis, shifting back. Release that left arm out to the side. Look at it as it travels. When you can't take it anymore, side stretch up and over to the right. Push down through the right foot, opening up the left side of the rib cage, and breathe for 3. Oh, this feels so good. For 2, and last 1. Let that arm lasso back behind you. It reaches over the foot bar. Grab onto the metal frame of the leg, bend your right elbow, push down through the right foot, and shift your rib cage to the left. And once again, I'm getting a lovely stretch underneath my left shoulder blade, going down through my ribs, along my spine, and I'm breathing for 3. Breathe for 2. And last 1. Replace that hand back down, sit up nice and tall, take a shake out. We've got to do a few things to your machine for your next exercise. I'm going to ask you to come onto 1 blue spring and take your foot bar all the way down flat. So slide blocks out, foot bar down, drop everything but the blue. And we're going to locate your boxes. Mine's hiding underneath my cabinet over here. Actually close this cabinet all the way. Okay, so we're going to put your boxes down over the metal frame of the foot bar, but in front of the black actual foot bar, the top of it. And these machines are so lovely because it kind of fits just perfectly right in there. Ta-da! I'm going to get into a little bit of planking here before we get into some more glute work. So I'm going to ask you to kneel up on your machine, tucking your toes under against your shoulder blocks. Your forearms are going to come down onto your box nice and parallel. A lot of times you're going to be tempted to turn the elbows out, but that's just going to roll the shoulder forward. So really line up your forearms and your fingertips. Now, just a little word to the wise. I like to let my fingertips kind of reach around the edge of the box, but you don't want to pull back on it because you don't want to tip your box up. So you can have your fingertips reach around, but don't have that. It's like an urge to pull back on it. Sometimes I get it as well. So tuck those toes under, find that nice neutral pelvis, neutral spine, hover your knees up and press out to your plank. And we're just gonna hold here and breathe for 8. Inhale, exhale, breathe for 7. Keep lifting up and out of the shoulders for 6. There's 5. Inhaling, exhale, breathe for 4. 3 more breaths, breathe for 3. Take 2. And last one, let the knees rest down, unfurl those toes, press back into child's pose, letting that low back open up and enjoying a moment. 2 more sets of plank to go. On our next set, we're gonna do our knee slides. So hands come back down exactly where they just were. Tuck those toes back under, hover the knees up and press out to your plank position. Without letting your spine or pelvis move, you're just gonna tuck your knees in underneath you on an inhale. Big exhale, press the legs out 8 times. There's 8. Bending in. Press for 7. Resist and reach. There's 6. Bending in, lengthening out for 5. Resist and press 4. Taking it in, lengthening away for 3. We have 2 more. Hello abdominals for 2. Bringing it in, pressing out last 1. Come all the way in, let the knees rest down. Once again, press back into a child's pose position, letting your low back open up. Take about 2 deep breaths right there. And last one. And then when you're ready, bring yourself up and forward. 1 last set of planks. We're gonna pike those hips up towards the ceiling. If you have tight hamstrings, this one is not your best friend. So I recommend going back into the knee slides. Or if it gets into your hip flexors. So once again, line up those hands, tuck those toes under, find your plank and hold. From here, you're gonna pike your hips up towards the ceiling. As you do so, you look down at your toes so your neck stays in line with the spine. And as you press back out, your head or your eyes gaze right in between your hands. And let's take that for 7. And resist. Breathe, there's 6. And pressing out. Lift for 5. Hello abdominals. And reach. There's 4. Lengthening away. Breathe for 3. Reaching out. 2 more. And press. Lift last 1. Pressing away. Bend your knees, come all the way in. Untuck those toes. Press out into your child's pose. Just take a moment. Whew. Let the neck relax. And let's roll up through that spine. We'll rotate your shoulder blades back and down a few times. Step off your machine and now move your box so that it's in short box style, right up against those shoulder blocks. So I'm just gonna let this travel all the way down. There we go. You still wanna make sure it's lined up. We're gonna get into some side skating and inner thigh work. So for side skating, I like to do it on 1 blue and 1 yellow spring. You can do it on a red and a yellow, but it's your choice. So I like 1 blue, 1 yellow spring. Also with the Revo foot bar, you can't have the foot bar part resting here because it's in the way of the foot. So you gotta bring this lower leg around, pull the machine out and let it rest right there. Otherwise it's in the way. So we're gonna step up onto the frame first. If you step onto the carriage first, you could really fall. So step onto your frame first, and I'm stepping up with my left foot onto the frame, and then I'm gonna bring my right foot up onto the carriage. Now, when we get into side skating, I like to be right on the edge of both the frame and the carriage. My feet are nicely lined up here. We're gonna take a few shoulder rolls back and down, prepare for this. Let's start with a set of, let's just do 4 squats. So hands are gonna come right in front of you. They can be on your hips or they can be behind your back, whatever feels best for your shoulders. I like to be out here. When you're ready, you're gonna sit down into your squat and press yourself up for 4. Taking it down, press for 3, lower, lift 2. We're not gonna lift on the last one, so let's lower it down and hold. Make sure that your knee is not in front of your toe. Back is nice and long and flat, and all of my weight is now staying over my frame leg, or for me, it's my left leg. All I'm gonna do is push the right leg out for 8 and bring it back in. Press 7. Hello, left glute and right glute for 6. Now your left leg is doing all the stabilizing, so it's probably working a little bit harder for 5. Take 4. Breathe for 3. We have 2 more right here. There's 2. And last 1. Bring it all the way in. Stand yourself up nice and tall. Take a little shake out. Now, we're gonna travel with the carriage. So our weight's gonna travel. This is 10 times harder, or at least it is for me, so be prepared. Let's bring it down into your squat and hold. So I wanna keep all of my weight over my right leg right now. It's just my left leg pressing out for 8, and I bring it back. You might not go all the way out to a straight leg for 7, and that's okay, resisting in. Breathe for 6, please stay on the carriage and on your feet for 5. Lot of right glute right here for 4. Once again, my body stays over my right leg for 3. That's where all the work comes in for 2. And last one right here. Press, bringing it all the way back. Standing yourself up, take a little shake out. We're gonna do a roll down. So if you are on a blue and a yellow spring, awesome. If you're on a red and a yellow, we're gonna have to do a little bit more work. Whenever you change your springs out, especially when you're standing on the carriage, you add before you subtract. It's like that whole, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally from math, Mrs. Quigley's math class, I don't know. Okay, so we're gonna turn our toes out a little bit. And your foot, for my foot, it kind of just hooks nicely onto the frame here. We're gonna take an inhale here on our exhale. We're just gonna roll down the spine, one vertebrae at a time. You can bend your knees if need be. And I'm dropping my yellow spring, so I'm on one blue. And then I roll all the way back up my spine. There we go. So I'm gonna then take my right foot and walk it out a little bit. I'm centered and my feet are nicely lined up, and they're turning out at about the same width. Let's go for some side splits. Arms start in brava, lift up through the heart. You're gonna inhale, open out to the side, let your arms come out to a second position, and then tuck the pelvis, engage the pelvic floor, bring the arms back down as you squeeze your inner thighs, bringing it back to your start for 8. Lengthening out, and exhale, tucking the pelvis, squeezing the glutes, engaging the pelvic floor for 7. Inhaling. And exhale, breathe. There's 6. Pressing the machine open, squeezing into the glutes, going out as far as you feel comfortable, and tucking the pelvis, inner thighs, and pelvic floor for 5. Reaching out. And exhale, tuck and lift. There's 4. Chin is up, back of the neck is long. Proud, open collarbone. And breathe for 3. Ooh. Inhale. Actually, that stretch does feel really lovely for 2 more. But ooh, those inner thighs. It's technically your VMO. It's not your inner thighs. It's your vascus medialis oblique. And then last one. Okay, we're gonna do, take a little moment right here, a very intense inner thigh exercise. It's all about carriage stability. You're gonna press the machine open about 6 to 8 inches, and then you're gonna bend your knees into like you're in second position, but like a demi-plie, but you're not that deep. Keep those abs pulling up and then reach those arms out to the side. Your goal is to not let the carriage move, but this is very challenging. Taking an inhale here, on your exhale, you're gonna roll down your spine, gather up a big bouquet of flowers. With your hands, roll back up the spine, and throw those flowers up towards the sky. Once again, the carriage is not moving. When I was living and working in San Francisco, we used to take doorbell and roll all the way up and send those flowers up to the sun god so the sun came out. 2 more. Since we're in LA, we're gonna take it up to the rain god. Rolling down, rolling up, there's 2. And then last one, rolling down. Carriage should be nice and steady. Gather up those flowers, roll it up, last one. Bring the carriage all the way in. Carefully step off of the carriage first. So all my weight is on the frame, and I take my right foot down, I take my left foot down, I take a little shake out. Now, I've got to add that yellow spring back on because we're going to do that whole series facing the opposite way. So let's add that yellow spring on. Walk around. You're going to get the back view now. Here we go. So as you step onto the carriage, once again, I'm now stepping on with my right foot first, or I'm stepping onto my frame first.
It is so important. And then I step up onto my carriage. We're gonna start with a side skating. So my toes are kind of, I like to lightly hook them around the sides of the machine. We're gonna start with 4 squats. Taking an inhale here, hands can be out in front of you, on your hips or behind the back, whatever feels best for you. Let's bring it down for 4 and pressing up. Lowering down for 3 and lift. 2 more. There's 2. Try not to let the carriage move like I just did. Taking it down and hold. All my weight stays over my right leg. I'm just gonna press my left leg out for 8 and bring it back. Body should not be moving at all for 7. The only thing moving here is my left femur bone through my metatarsals for 6. Reach 5. Whew. 4 more, press for 4. Breathe for 3. 2 more, reach, there's 2. And last one, press, bringing it back in, standing yourself back up, take a little shake out. Now we gotta move the body. So the body's gonna move with the carriage. We're gonna press off with the right foot. So let's bring it down for your nice squat. Now keep your body over that left leg, just push the right leg out for 8 and bringing it back. Find that balance for 7. This is a very challenging exercise for 6 to actually do properly. 5 more, length for 5 and bringing it in. 4 more, there's 4. Press for 3. 2 more, reach for 2. And last one right here, lengthening out, bringing it all the way back in, standing yourself up. Take a few shoulder rolls back and down. We are going to bend your knees a little bit. We've got to come onto one blue spring to do your inner thigh work. So let's roll down. I'm going to bend my knees a little bit. Since I'm on a blue and a yellow, I'm just 86ing my yellow and I'm rolling back up. I'm going to then turn my right foot out to the side, walk my left foot out and turn it out as well. Make sure your feet are on the same plane. Tuck that pelvis, squeeze the glutes. When you're ready, arms start in brava. Let the carriage open up as the arms come out to second position. Now tuck the pelvis, squeeze the glute, engage the pelvic floor. Close the machine as you bring your arms back down to brava. Let's take this out for 7. And resisting back in. Once again, your pelvis stays right in the middle of the legs for 6. So you're traveling out and tuck and resisting back. 5 more. There is 5. And pulling the machine back in towards the stopper. Once again, when you get to your out position, think about tucking the tail a little bit, engaging the pelvic floor, and that's what brings you back forward. For 4, we're on 4. 3 more, just do 8 total. There's 3. Lengthening out, opening out. Last 2. And pressing all the way open. And bringing it in, last 1. Okay, so we got to, since we're in LA, pray to the rain god. Kind of want to pray to the snow god because I'm going to Whistler next week, so we get some nice snow. So we'll pray for snow in the Canadian Rockies and rain in Southern California. Okay, so you're going to press out about 6 to 8 inches now that we've established where we want our weather patterns. Bend your knees in, and your goal is to not let the carriage move. Arms start out to the side. We're going to, without letting the carriage move, roll down the spine. It's a very challenging. Gather up that bouquet of flowers, roll back up without letting the carriage move, and toss those flowers up towards the sky. And let's take it for 3 more. Taking it down, gathering up those flowers. And my left leg's my naughty leg, so my carriage is moving a little bit. There's 3. Stay steady. Hello, glute medius. And rolling it up for 2. It is your carriage leg glute medius that is keeping the carriage steady. Just in case you were wondering what muscle group we're focusing on or what muscle we're focusing on, rolling down. And bringing it up. Last one. Closing the machine in towards the stopper. Now you have to step off the carriage first. So my right foot stays exactly where it is on the frame. My left foot steps off. Whew. Now, we have just enough time to get some lovely side overs in. So we're going to, if you're on the Revo foot bar, move that bar up and over. We're gonna add on every single spring. And we're gonna make sure our strap is where we can locate it. So for side overs, I'm 5'9", so I need the box over the shoulder blocks, but in front of the pegs. So I gotta flip my headrest down and move my box up and over just a little bit. I love side overs. It's a love-hate relationship, but I love them. Let's sit down on your box, hooking your left foot underneath that strap. I'm gonna turn to my right, because I'm gonna do my left side first. And we're gonna flex that left foot, hanging in that strap. We're gonna start with a lovely stretch. So bring your right hand onto the headrest and then all the way down into the well, reaching that left arm up and over because that feels so good. Now, once we get going here, the whole movement happens from the hip bone up. Our leg and our glute don't move at all. You wanna really squeeze your glute here because it's what's stabilizing, but once again, you're only moving from the hip bone up. Let's walk your right hand onto the edge of the headrest, starting to set up your arm position. Position 1, the most supported position, is your right hand on the headrest, the left hand behind the head. Position 2 is left hand on your hip bone, right hand behind the head. One step up is both hands behind the head, and then both arms out. I'm gonna go here today. It's just where I am. I switch it up quite a bit. I'm really squeezing my left glute. My leg is not moving. I'm gonna dip down into the spring well and reach it up for 8. Inhale, lower, and exhale, take it up for 7. Lowering down and lift, there's 6. Inhale and exhale, bringing it up for 5. We have 4 more, there's 4. Lower, lift for 3. Taking it down, stretch, and bringing it up for 2. Lower, lift, last one. Twist your heart to face the ground. Take a nice stretch down. Walk those hands out. Ooh, because it feels so good. And let's bring it over onto the opposite side so you can bring yourself up. I'm gonna now hook my right foot underneath that strap, turn to my left, line my left shin up with the short edge of the box. Really anchor your foot there. Let's start with that lovely stretch up and over and reach and breathe for 3. Inhale, exhale, breathe 2. And last one. Bring your bottom left hand onto the edge of the headrest. Really squeeze that right glute. Pick your arm position here. When you're ready, dip down into the well and lift up 8 times 8. Take inventory. Is this harder or easier for 7 on this side? Get to know your body and breathe for 6. And its strengths for 5. Inhale, exhale, take 4. Lowering down, lifting up for 3. Inhale, exhale, lift 2. And lower down, lift last one. Twist your heart to face the ground. Hang out down in the well. Take a few breaths right there. Inhaling and exhaling. While you enjoy that stretch, I just want to say thank you so much for showing up to class today. It was so much fun having you here. This is one of my favorite workouts. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. If you really like this and you want me to keep making videos, please hit subscribe. If there's any exercises that you're like, oh my gosh, I love that one, leave it below and I will work it in to the flow of a routine. And yeah, have a beautiful day and Merry Christmas. Bye.